Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Cory Means Business show and podcast. Today, we've got a extremely special guest. We have Emily Bates and her husband, Dallas, is on the side over here watching me closely. But he's her support. So he was clapping. That was all him right there on that clap that you heard. So thank you, Dallas. Appreciate the support in the audience there. Always great to have the fans in, when we can. Anyway, we're going to bring you a great show. Emily Bates, Dallas Bates, husband and wife team. Emily's the creative one. Her business is Queen Bee Home, and is a custom crafts and arts and all kinds of really cool stuff, T-shirts and these really awesome dog portraits that she's now doing, which is really, really cool. So, Emily, thank you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, to get started, what exactly is your business all about? What do you sell? Like, what's your inspiration for selling it?
So our business is primarily, I would say, custom handmade goods. So we primarily started out with handmade wood signs as our initial product that we fell into by accident. And over the course of the last 7 years, we've acquired many new products to the website that are mostly customizable, but also streamlined for generic designs and timeless designs that would fit any home decor style, really. But we specialize in creating one-of-a-kind custom pieces for people that are so meaningful and hold a special place in both their hearts and their homes and within their families.
Oh, very, very, very nice. And I know I have not an art bone in my body. I couldn't, my stick figures are bad. I mean, people if I draw a stick figure, people are like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? So it's bad. So whenever I meet an actual artist, someone that's actually artistic, it's super impressive to me because it's a talent that I skipped that day in line. I don't know what I circled back for exactly. Still trying to figure that out, but it wasn't my sense of humor, right? As I'm bombing right now. Because I also forgot to mention, and we'll do it quickly, our co-host.
How you doing?
I'm still trying to get used to having a co-host,
I know, right?
so I almost forget
Only
about you.
second episode, man.
Well, then too, you blended in with the blue. You were in a blue shirt,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Mucho.
How you doing,
Welcome
man?
back, man. Great to have you.
Awesome, man. Feeling great today.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in your business. That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
But you said you accidentally fell into wood carving. How do you accidentally get into wood carving?
Well, you're right. I had no skills, no background in using power tools of any kind. I was actually a teacher, and I've always been creative, enjoyed creating, and I just always had a passion for making things, and mainly for myself and for our home and then friends and family. And one fall, actually coming up on almost 7 years, we went into a Michael's store and purchased this machine that at the time we could not really afford. Dallas gave me the nudge that I wasn't leaving the store without this machine because he knew how much I enjoyed creating. And I took it home and I got so frustrated with it. I couldn't figure out how to use it. Almost just took it back. And if I had taken it back, none of this would be happening right now, that's for sure. So we just started creating, crafting, and pretty soon thereafter, our family and friends were asking if I was selling the things I was making, and I said, no, I'm just make you one. And they were like, no, we'll pay you for it. And I thought, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, this could become like a little extra cash for Christmas gifts, because it was right around the holidays. And pretty soon Dallas was running on his lunch to get all the supplies he could find at every store in town while I was teaching. And we'd come home and then we'd stay up all night and make stuff. And after the holidays, we thought, well, what will we do next? Because that was more Christmas themed things. Right. And then we started having people request custom gifts for people, custom items for their home. And I just sort of became self-taught, and we started dabbling in lots of different things that we don't do now that we realized weren't really our niche. But it just sort of was born, and we had to get a website because people wanted us to ship these things, and of course we didn't know how to do that either. Right. We were like just doing local sales at the time, and before you know it, we had a fully fledged online presence on social media, on our website. And I was still teaching at the time, and it became so difficult to 2 of them without going to bed so late and waking up so early, and we were finding it hard to have a balance in our life. And we sat down and said, this could really become like a full-time job. And it did. And I left teaching to do this full-time, and I've been out of the classroom over 4 years now.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's amazing. And I can tell you, you're probably, what would you say, Emilio, 4th artist, craftsman, artistman that we've had. Artist, is it artistman? Is artist lady? How do you say that exactly?
Artisan.
Artisan. Artist daughter. Okay. We'll figure it out. Well, and the story is very similar, right? The typical origin story is really, really similar, where it's started just doing it for fun and just started making it for the family, and then somebody saw it and now they wanted one, and then you start making it for them, and then someone else refers it, and it's like, make me one too, right? And the next thing you know, you're like, wait a second, like, this guy could make a little side money, right? And it always turns into a side
hustle
business, a little side hustle, exactly. And usually people just kind of kill it off right there. But some, like you, obviously start realizing like this could be a real business, because there's enough people coming to me saying, I really want that. That's really, really neat. And again, we talked about it in the pre-show with her, which was when you have a personal brand, especially when you're an artist, when you do craftsman stuff and craft stuff, people are buying you as much as they're buying what you're actually making, right? So they're buying you. So they want to know that you made it. It wouldn't have the same value if it was made by some stranger. The fact that it's you that's making it, that makes them want it more, and which would allow you obviously to move a lot better in the marketplace, especially when it comes to price, because we talked about getting her prices up. Sorry, customers, like I told her, she's being too nice to you guys. You guys got to give her a little bit more love and then help her out with some more expensive stuff. But yeah, it's a great story. And again, whenever I see that hobby turned into a business, and then, especially where you guys are at right now, basically you just started, you were running this in your home for a while, right? So that was the other
Correct.
evolution. So once you realized it could be a real business, you're like, well, let's still just run it from home. So how long did you just run the business from home, and how'd that go?
Oh, well, we ran the business from our home from the very beginning. And then as we began to add different things, we sort of started expanding into our 3-car garage, which we never parked in anyway. And Dallas has like a small corner for his home gym, and then I had like the rest
The
of it.
Bowflex and then her stuff, right?
Yeah. And he got this great
The
setup
foldable
that
rack, there you
folded
go.
in, so it gave me plenty of space. But, with growth, which we've been so blessed to have continued to be able to do with our business, comes, many more machines, and some of them commercial, and there does sort of reach a point where you can't do that any longer in a residential
Yeah, I heard a story
setting.
from Dallas saying that one of the neighbors had a little issue with your machinery going on there in the garage, right?
Yeah.
So how'd that transpire, and what happened there?
So we only had one machine for a while. It is considered a commercial level machine.
Right.
So depending on what we were doing, we were respectful with the times of day we were using it and work days. But once we added a second machine, we were running them quite a bit. And so with that came a little bit of concern about just being neighborly.
Right.
So we were presented with a situation where we sat and said, okay, what will we do? We tried a couple of different things to remedy what the concerns were, and it didn't work out so well. So we did actually, I remember we went to dinner and we sat and we said, wow, we really could, what if we did get a place? Like, what if we could even maybe have a storefront, and
Right.
and we could have our work on display, because at that time we did sell in a couple of smaller businesses that had different artisans in their store with their work,
Right.
and we had had the privilege to have our work there as well. But the most recent store closed, and at that point this last year we hadn't had our work anywhere, so it was sort of people were wanting to see our work but couldn't, and we only had our online purchasing. So we thought, wow, what a great opportunity for people to come and have that experience and meet us too and chat with us about placing an order and just continue that family feel that we want people to have when they come to our website. So we looked at a lot of places and we saw a lot of places that wouldn't be a good fit, location, safety. Dallas even refused to go in one of them. He was not happy with my choice, but I thought the bones were good, so I tried, but it didn't work out. And we finally found a great place in the location that was actually at the top of our list, and a bonus had the storefront, which we weren't really interested in because we were nervous about how we would stock it, who would work in the front of the store.
Right.
And then when we found this particular place that had it, it just seemed like the most perfect situation and the perfect fit. And we put in an offer and we agonized and lost sleep over it. I remember for over a week waiting. It was like we had our hopes up and ended up working out perfect. And now that's where we are.
Nice.
So.
I don't know. When you said commercial machine, is it a state-by-state thing that you need a license to run it out of your home?
Well, any designation, for zoning for residential,
okay.
You can run a business out of it, a home-based business, but it cannot disturb the neighbors, or it can be any kind of
exactly.
Heavy production or manufacturing. Or
and that would go by state or by county, or
pretty much all the states are like. I mean, yes, it's a city ordinance or a county zoning requirement, but I don't know of any states that don't have that, or any cities that don't have those type of.
Maybe Texas.
Yeah, maybe Texas, right? Maybe few towns in Texas, Montana, maybe.
Yeah,
you might be good. Depends on how far away your neighbor lives,
yes,
obviously,
that's
too.
a factor too.
If you're in a rural area, I mean, you pretty much get away with whatever. Which there's different types of zoning, even for residential too, to where you can actually get away with running.
Even in commercial, we had, and that was what kind of narrowed down our search immediately, was that the zoning for our machines, there's so few places that are within that particular zone, and so right away that eliminated so many from the list, which didn't give us a lot of choices.
You needed light industrial.
Exactly. Yep.
C1, at least C1.
Exactly.
Which is hard. I mean, right now the market, and anybody watching the show knows, I mean, if you're in any kind of a business where you need a flex space or an industrial space, I mean, the market is really
It's
tough.
so hot right now, and everybody has been, the minute they go on the market, they get, taken. We went to even see places that had just been listed and the offers were already in.
Sure.
And so, when we saw this place, we knew we had to act quickly.
Right.
And we couldn't, even with a shadow of hesitation, take a chance on not getting it.
Which is the way to move in business, and that's a good learning moment there for our audience is to understand that, look, when you're in business, time is your most valuable asset. Okay, it's more valuable than your inventory. It's more valuable than the money you have in the bank. You have to value your time. And when it comes to making decisions, you have to be quick with the decision. So you have to make sure that, okay, not saying reckless with the decision, not saying, don't think it through, but if it feels right and you ran your numbers and everything, the boxes check, move. Don't hesitate, right? Because if you start procrastinating in business and you're supposed to make certain decisions or move in certain directions and you're hesitating, you'll get run over. So you've got to make sure that you take decisive actions and be prepared, right? Be prepared for how that's going to work. Because like for you, for instance, and everybody that, obviously has home-based businesses and is either transitioning into a commercial space or, needs to, has outgrown the home space and needs to move into a commercial space. Like, I know that's a little nerve-wracking a little bit, but you got to just understand, like, if you're going to evolve, you have to do it. And another great thing too about doing that, which we're talking about in the pre-show too, is that now it's no longer a home-based business, which is training wheels. Okay, whenever you have a home-based business, right? Another quick teaching moment here. Whenever you have a home-based business, it's like having training wheels on your bike, because you feel safe. You feel like, okay, my overhead's not too much. If things don't work out, I don't have a bunch of bills and a bunch of commitments, right? It's just the house. But the problem with that, and again, I get why the warm and fuzziness feels good, right? But the problem with it is it's like training wheels on a bike, right? We all learned how to ride bikes. Hopefully, I know my generation did. those training wheels, like, yeah, it was great to know, like, if I was leaning, like, the training wheel would be there. Oh, it's going to save me. But you can never ride the bike as well with the training wheels as you can without the training wheels. And so when your dad or your mom or whomever, your favorite uncle, takes off those training wheels and says, all right, training wheels off, you get that sinking feeling and you're like, oh shit, here we go. But that's what you need, because if you don't take the training wheels off, your growth is then stunted. And so by moving into a commercial space and actually, approaching it more as like a real business, training wheels are off, and now it's like it's go time. But what I've found in working with businesses is that that's really their initial true test to say, hey, are we really going to do something special with this business? Is this going to be something that's long term and really becomes something that can grow and be sustainable and continue to provide the fulfillment of your vision, right? And that's what it really comes down to. I always tell my coaches that work for me, I say, look, every business owner, okay, I don't care who they are, and I know that some will still deny it, and you might even deny this too, but the reality is every business owner, when they start a business, right, and they start taking it seriously as like a business. So when you take it seriously when it replaces your full-time job, okay, that's when it's taken seriously. So you started a little side business, starts off as a side hustle. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to keep my job. I want that little safety net. I want the training wheels. And then it's going pretty good. Oh, look at that. I can quit my job, right? And then now you're like, okay, I quit my job. This is full time. When you're doing that and your family's looking at you, maybe your husband, maybe your parents or your friends were like, hey, you sure you want to go with that nice little job? It's security, right? And you get told that. And you're like, no, I'm sure, right? And then they're like, well, am I really sure, right? They may be right. Maybe I'm making a big mistake here, right? Well, in that moment is when you push forward and you say, no, I'm going to do it. And here's why. Because here's where the dream, and I know this is a long point, but hang in there with me. Every business owner wants this, okay? They want to get rich, and there's nothing wrong with getting rich. That is not a dirty word, okay? And the reason why it's not a dirty word is because it means that you're helping people, right? Unless you're out there stealing, getting rich, okay, which we're not, no politicians in the room, right? Unless you're out there stealing, getting rich, you have to be helping someone to get that money. So if you're offering a valuable good or service and you're getting paid a lot of money for it, that means that you're helping a lot of people. Well, isn't that a good thing? Yes, it is. So when you tie getting rich as a business owner and say, well, it's because I'm helping more people, well, now that becomes an actual virtue, a real virtue, because now you're actually helping people and you're making more money, and the more people you help, the more money you make, and that just feeds on itself. So getting rich is always the one thing, and again, nothing wrong with that. The second thing is you want your freedom, okay? You want your freedom. Now, freedom can mean different things. Sometimes it means just control, right? Sometimes it means just I don't want to be subject to a boss. I don't want to be subject to like a 9-to-5. I don't want to have to, if I want to go take my kids somewhere, spend more time with the holidays, or me and the hubby want to, go off to a long weekend. I don't got some boss breathing down my neck. Sometimes that's freedom, right? Even though you're still working 70 hours a week and sometimes more, that's still freedom. That's a portion of freedom. And other than that, the freedom can then transition into you get to come and go as you want and still make lots of money, right? And then the third thing that business owners always want is this has to go somewhere and become something greater than myself, right? And that's really, when you peel away the layers of the onion and you get to business owners and say, well, what did you really start it for? What's really motivating you? I've always found that a lot of people say, well, it's because I want this thing to become bigger than me, right? I'm here, my mind's here, my heart's here, but I want it to be bigger than that. And when you transition into understanding that, that's when you can really start to do special things. When you really start to understand that you're going to make this thing bigger than you. Meaning, personally, I could help this many people with this problem. But when your business can help more people than you could help, well, now your business is bigger than you, right? And that's when it gets really special. And that's when it gets really, really fulfilling. Excited for you because I know that's exactly where you're at, right? You've got some employees coming on. You've got a commercial location now. So now you've started that transition to that third part of the dream, which is this business will become bigger than me. And so how's that going so far? I know you got the commercial space, you just hired a couple of people, right?
Yes.
How's that going so far?
It's going great. I was very surprised at how I adapted, because I very much enjoy being in control of everything all the time, not just in my work life, but in all areas of my life.
How's that work out, Dallas?
Well, during the journey, I heard a lot of work from him.
Yeah.
Something tells me though that he's in speaking with him in the pre-show and talking to him, you know, a little bit. He's got you working. I mean, he's working you. You just think you're working.
Oh, right.
He's got it all figured out.
Somehow,
All right, so the
funny.
control. So you the control thing. You like to control and,
I do.
and
I
being in
think
charge.
for me, it's just a matter of making sure that things are done to the standard that I have in different areas of my life, not just, like I said, with work, but in particular with the business. Our reputation for providing a product that is of high quality and a trustworthy company, that is very important to me. And so to relinquish some of that control over and have that be in someone else's hands has, you know, it's a challenge, but
Right.
it's a journey. And we just, when we bring people into our family, into our workplace, or as a part of our team, we want them to understand that those are our values, and our customers are our family. And so we just hope that translates to both our customer and our team of people who are behind the scenes, essentially.
Right,
So
right.
It's been great, though. I will say we're getting a lot more done, which is kind of awesome. We're getting more things checked off the list. Our production times are closing in a little bit for certain things. Some things always just will be the same, but it is very nice. And it's nice to share the business with somebody, because I was at home for a long time by myself and with my dogs. And
Right.
so now it's kind of nice. With teaching, I had that, you know, colleague sense of community where I could talk with people, bounce ideas around, share thoughts, feelings, worries, all of the things. And I think when you move away from that into your own business, you're alone a lot. And so it's kind of nice to have
Sure.
some social time
Right,
and have
right.
other people.
Yeah.
And also perspective too. I mean, sometimes people bring ideas to the table and you may have never thought of that before. And it's great to have, you know, other people's input in addition to your own. And I think that's another great way to grow. So
In touching on that, and I'm sure Mucho can really, because he's worked in a lot of big companies with a lot of different people, and you know he's got a big radio background, and so I know the personalities that you've dealt with is difficult.
Yeah. I was just
challenge.
in pre-show. I was talking to Emilio, our production guy, and I worked with some really strict hard asses, man. They were jerks,
Right.
but things got done.
Right.
So I was actually thinking about that when you were talking about, you know, having control. How do you find that right balance in having these employees buy into your dream, but being firm as a boss?
Well, I'm really lucky that the ladies that work with me, they have a very strong background of our business already, and I met them from, one of them was a customer. And
Yeah.
so I think just being concise and having good communication up front is so important, and just letting them know that when we're at work, this is the expectation, this is what, you know, we're doing, this is what I expect. But if something goes wrong or if there's an issue, like that does not impact a personal relationship. It's just business. And I think I've learned from having help in the past that there has to be a line, a boundary between when you're at work, it's work, and then when we leave work, it's, you know, it's more personal. It's
Sure.
not, you know, and I think that I've learned is so important. And open communication, especially, I think is really important, because I just think, how would I want to be treated in my work environment if this were me?
Right.
So I do try to take on perspective as well, but I want it's a lot of different things to juggle. You want it to feel like family, but you also, you know, we're here to work and we're here to provide quality
Accountability
products.
has to be there. It's a very interesting dynamic that, and every business owner that's watching this obviously is cringing at the same time you're describing that. And I'm cringing because we know the pain, right? The pain is always, and I put this in my book, Maximize Your Now. There's a whole chapter where I talk about the dynamic between an employer and employee. Okay, and I talk about it from both positions. Same way your perspective is that you got to look at it from both sides. Now I've been on both sides, right? I worked in the industry that my primary focus was in for 7 years when I graduated from the U of A, and I had a bunch of bosses before that, little smaller jobs, but serious business jobs and serious career stuff. 7 years I worked for other people before I started my own, and the dynamic was always weird just because that there's a boss, they have expectations, and then again the personality thing, and you got some bosses that are pushovers and some bosses that are dickheads, and other bosses that are kind of like in between. And where does the employee fit in with that dynamic? And what's the employee's responsibilities? Right now, in my book, I talk more about the employee's responsibilities for themselves, meaning that the employee has to assume the responsibility for how the job goes. Now, as a boss, as an employee, and having that perspective and having the perspective as a boss, and here's another learning moment. As an employee, it's your responsibility to go to your boss whenever you have an issue. Okay, now every boss, I can tell you, I've hired and fired and trained hundreds and hundreds of people. Every boss wants you to do well. There's no boss that does not want an employee to do well. And this idea that some employees get that their boss is out to sabotage them and that their boss doesn't want them to do well and wants them to struggle, that's not true, because it's reflective upon the boss. Because the boss's job is to get the employees to perform well. And if you own the business like you and like me, if an employee is not performing well, it's coming right out of my pocket and out of my production and out of my reputation, obviously, for providing whatever I'm providing. So, but the disconnect a lot of times comes with the communication barrier that exists between employees and employers, right? The employee doesn't feel they can be honest with the boss. The boss doesn't feel like they can really shoot the employee straight. And so you have this like disconnect, almost like a bad marriage, right? Where you just can't talk, right? Where's dinner? Damn it. Right. Here, I told you not to,
Been there.
Right. Yeah. We've all had bad relationships. But that is that dynamic of just a bad communication. But it's on the employee. And really, in my book, I put the emphasis on the employee to fix that communication problem. The employee has to go to the boss and say, look, I'm having a problem with this. I want to do well. I didn't get this, I don't want to be fired. I don't want to lose the job. I want to be able to get promotions and raises and all the good stuff. But I'm struggling with this understanding or in this area or whatever. But that's got to be on the employee. And the reason why it's got to be on the employees, because you got to understand employees, your boss is going in 50 different directions at all times. Mm-hmm. You got customers, you got overhead, you got, rent, you've got other employees, right? So really, employees, please take it on yourself to go to your boss and communicate. And if you've got a problem, talk, set up a time, a formal time. Just don't hit them, coming out of the bathroom, right? Set up a formal time to talk about the issues, and then you can get that feedback from the boss and have a better communication going and solve the problems, because every boss, again, wants the employees to do well. The dynamic from the employer standpoint, and again, you're learning this, is that, I want to be friends and friendly with my employees, but there's got to be that line. And so always establish that early on, like any relationship we all have, like you want to establish like where your boundaries are early on. You don't want to wait until someone's like way over the boundary and way on your, bad side, and then start talking about where your boundary is. Okay. It's kind of too late. Right. Mm-hmm. So you want to set the boundaries early and say, look, I want to have a great relationship. I want your feedback. I value your opinion. I value this. I value that. But at the same time, here's the boundaries. And then the other thing, a little bit of advice I'd give there too, is always hire the person, not the resume. Okay. And I've hired resumes and I've hired people, right? And I've always had more success with just hiring people instead of resumes. People will come to me and I'll hire them and their resumes that long and, every accreditation and accomplishment you can imagine, but it doesn't work out. And I've had people come to me and come to work for me that have no background in what we do, no idea how to do it, but they are the right fit. They share the vision. They're good people, and they're hungry to learn and accept the challenge. And I've always had the most success with those people, way more than the people that had the resume for what I was doing. And I would venture to say most employers have that same experience. If you hire the person and not the resume, you always end up doing way better. So, so you're in that dynamic, and it's going well so far, right? And you're starting to get the employees to like contribute and kind of take some of the load off of you, so you can start to get production down, like you said, and you can start to maybe get a little bit of time back to start moving better, right? Yeah. So in this dynamic where you're at, so you're got your new location, you got 2 employees, you got a little storefront going. Now what's the game plan? What do you say is now your next, like, okay, here's what needs to get done over the next couple of months?
Sure. So the goal is to potentially even hire additional people. That would be a dream, of course, to have maybe another person in the warehouse side of it where the production is happening. Just to close in on the timelines that we have right now, our production time is out. Just it's been fine for this long, but it would be nice to be able to say we can bring it in a week to 10 days or do more rush orders or have that flexibility in the schedule where we feel like we're not staying until like 9-10 o'clock at night and showing up again at 6 a.m. just to get it done, having a little bit more leeway with the schedule, because it can be hectic at times and it just seems like you can't catch your breath.
Right.
But as much as that is a blessing, of course, because we're so grateful to be busy, I hope to be able to streamline some things a little bit more effectively in order to do that. And I think in order to do that, we just need more hands.
Well, you got the holidays coming up. So
and the holidays.
You guys are prepping for that?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, fourth quarter is always the busiest quarter for us. Even then we try and prepare for it, and nothing seems to really ever prepare us. And we just started a machine, actually, that I'm sitting on a 2-day training the next 2 days. So we're very excited. That's going to open up an entire new product line for us.
What's
as
that
well.
About?
So we just acquired a UV printer, which basically can print color on lots of different mediums. So in addition to being able to paint and engrave, now we can print in full color. We can even customize golf balls if you'd like.
Really?
I mean, really, we can do a lot of different things. So it's really going to open up a lot of different options that we didn't have before, as far as smaller home decor items that we couldn't necessarily paint because they were too detailed or maybe intrinsic. So we're really excited about that. But with that comes another machine to man. So we have to have somebody. Essentially, it would be nice to have enough people to man each type of machine and be fully trained on the machine that they're in charge of, because commercial lasers they can catch fire very, very, very quickly. And so we need to have people or somebody standing over those machines when they're operating at all times, which means that nothing else can be done while those are on and working. So it does just mean more manpower, essentially. So ultimately, we'd like to do that and grow in that direction. And then if we felt like the need was there to have the store open more, we would love to be able to offer more hours and have somebody available to work those shifts in the storefront. Maybe even I could be available to spend more time meeting customers and having more interaction with people as far as chatting and going over their ideas rather than just on email. So I always enjoy chatting with them. So.
Well, you can always do by appointment, by appointment only.
Yes.
So the showroom's open by appointment only, or, specific hours,
exactly.
Where you're going to be down, you're going to have more free time. Just to kind of compensate for that while you come through the curve, right? Don't feel like you got to have a storefront open 24/7, 7-Eleven, and then still be in the back, getting stuff out. So don't pressure yourself like that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely neat to have people, especially people that are looking to place bigger orders, right? They can come and they can actually get a feel for it and stuff like
or they can bring sometimes we have people who they have a wall in their home and they're just completely lost and they want some guidance on how to decorate it, and they want one of our pieces to be the focal point. And so bring your measurements, let's talk sizes. I can show you what pieces we have and how we could tailor that to fit your style. And I think making it more of a home decor appointment where we talk not just about product, but how to style the space too, because I do find enjoyment in doing things like that too. And we've basically redone our entire home when we had more time. Thankfully, there's no more DIY projects at our house. We've done everything. So we've shared that journey on our social media as far as projects that we've done. And so we do on occasion have people reach out and ask, what would you do with the space? And so it would be really exciting to offer that as well.
Yeah, that would be a cool.
I mean,
definitely
talking about growing, maybe we could have a design. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, design studio.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, whenever you're looking to scale, right? So, I always tell people, you know, when you're looking to scale your business, you want to scale up. You don't want to scale down, right? And unfortunately, a lot of businesses will scale down, right? Meaning that, you know, our core products are, you know, I'll just make up some numbers, but your core products are $100, right? And so we have this product here for $100, and that's our best seller, and this is what we sell all day long is this $100 product. Well, then they start starting about scaling. They go down. They go, well, we're going to offer some $20 products and some $10 products and some $5. They scale down. It's about price, you know, scaling down the price point, and that's a big mistake. You should scale up. Okay, so if your best-selling item is $100. And you want to offer more and you want to actually scale up. Come up with a $500 product. Come up with a $1,000 product. Okay? Come up with a $5,000 product. Mm-hmm. Shoot, come up with a $10,000 product, right? Now, are you going to sell them all day, every day? No, but because you have them, you're going to get some sales on them, and it'll also help bring in more value to the other things you're doing. If you have a product that is $10,000 and then you have a product down here that's $200, the person feels a little luckier to get it, right? And so that's really, again, especially when, you know, for artisans, that's a very, very easy way to create more value for yourself and for your customers and the people that love you to actually learn to value you even more, right? They love you already. They just got to value you some more, right? And so whenever I've scaled businesses or helped scale businesses or scaled my own businesses, I always scale up. It works way better because I've scaled down too. Again, I've made every mistake that you can possibly make in business, and I've coached thousands of businesses through every mistake they could possibly make. And there's some ones I was like, holy crap, how did you come up with that mistake? Wow. And 25 years in doing it, and I'm still like shocked on almost a daily basis. Like, you did what now? What was it? How'd that go? What happened? You know, so, and some of the pitfalls are obvious and some are obvious and people still fall right in. I mean, you know, it's kind of a strange dynamic, but scale up. So start getting higher level stuff, not lower level stuff. And if that new machine, right, this custom engraver can engrave whatever, have it engrave some really, really, really special, expensive stuff.
Well, that makes total sense. I see that with the tech stuff. You know, Apple goes an extra centimeter on their iPhone screen, and they add $1,000 to it. So why wouldn't it work with other products?
Right. Exactly.
I'm sure their cost to make it a centimeter longer wasn't that much.
Right. Exactly.
So that makes total sense to do it with any product or any business out there.
Yeah, and it works really, really well. And again, it's a little counterintuitive. There's a lot of things about in business that they're counterintuitive. And that's why a lot of small business owners, you know, end up falling into, you know, some of these, you know, profit sucking traps, because some things that are counterintuitive are actually the tool that they need, right? So the thing they could be doing to grow the business and make more money is this counterintuitive thing that they just think, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do it. And you can, and you do it, and you're like, holy crap. And I've routinely doubled small businesses' gross revenues quickly, because that's what I get paid to do. And I do it with some things that people that when I first consult with the small business, they shake their head to go, that's not going to be possible. And I go, well, I've done it thousands of times and it works every time. So yeah, let's give it a try. And then we give it a try, and sure enough, like 30 days later, they're like, holy crap, I never dreamed, because it was counterintuitive, right? Yeah, that dynamic you're doing is fantastic. You're scaling, right? You're starting to scale. You're starting to think about scaling. Just scale up, you know, go higher before you go wider, because that's where businesses get caught, you know, especially new businesses and businesses that are really just starting to like grow and starting to really get going. I've seen, another teaching moment, I have seen more businesses fail because they were growing than because they didn't have enough business. They actually died because they had too much business, but they didn't have any profit. That was what killed it, right? So the growth came, but their profitability left, and then they ran out of money, and then show's over. So when you scale up, right, you are going to be going higher instead of wider, so your overhead doesn't increase, your costs don't increase, right? You may have some additional material costs or things like that, but same location, same employees, same machines, same basic overhead, right? Except for now your sales volume can grow because you're scaling up, and you can do it two ways. You can do it through price, increasing price, or you can also do it through offering higher level stuff, higher level services, higher level goods, right? It's great that your number one sellers are these $100 items, but offer the 5, offer the 1,000. You will have customers that will say, like, I've been waiting for you to make $1,000 item. This is amazing. Like, finally, it's here, right? Because every business, especially yours, I mean, what's impressive about Emily and Dallas's business, and Emily, is that she has like this amazing following. And we're going to link all of her Instagram and Facebook and all of her social media stuff. But she has an amazing following, and it's pretty much been organic. And it's due to your, being a very genuine person and the personal branding and all that. And it's very impressive, that following you have. But I guarantee in that following, in that, in that customer base you have, and that fan base you have, there's 100 people that just will buy anything you make, right? And so give them something special, right? Again, give them that $1,000 thing they've been wanting. Give them that extra. But again, I'm not saying just charge the $1,000 for the $100 thing, right? That's not the point. Create a $1,000 thing. The value always has to be there. You never want to not give, my rule for business is, if you're going to charge $1,000, make it be worth something that's really $2,000. Now, not to undercut your price, but just that you're going to make it that the quality that high, the experience that good, that you're just going to bring the value, because it's up to you to bring the value. So create those higher end things for your super fans and your super customers. They'll love you more for it, and you'll make way more money, and then you'll get that really, really nice vertical growth, which will then allow you to do some of the other stuff too, right? Hire more people, get maybe another machine that could help out with some production. There's always better technologies. I mean, especially, I'm sure you've learned already with the lasers and stuff like that. I mean, it's like any computer or phone, like every 6 months, there's a new, better one that comes out. And so you always want to be, having that ultra profitability, not so you just take the money out and, go have fun with it at home, but so you can reinvest in the business.
Sure.
Reinvest, and be able to get the better machines and the better equipment, and be able to hire when you want to hire, and hire who you want to hire, right? Not everybody's created equal. Some people are expensive, Mm-hmm. I've had to hire managers, for some of my higher level functions that I have to pay like heavy 6 figures, not starting 6 figures, heavy 6 figures too. But they're worth it because mm-hmm. of the production they can bring.
Exactly.
And the value they can bring to the business and to my clientele. So very excited for you. So you're already thinking more employees, just hired 2, you're already thinking more, right? So how big, let's talk future. How big do you want this thing to be?
I mean, I would love to have a team, maybe 6, 7 people would be amazing.
Okay.
Could you imagine what we could do? We could probably bring our production down to a week.
Right.
I have a feeling after that 6, 7, you want 10, 12.
All right.
Maybe a second store, bigger store.
Okay.
A second warehouse. Yeah. I mean, we dream big. We do.
That's good.
I did not, and I usually ask this, and again, it's not that it matters, but it does matter. How old are you?
37.
37.
I had to think about that.
Okay. Well, I think we all think about it. But you're just obviously coming into your prime as a business owner, mm-hmm. and, as the type of value that you can bring. You don't even hit your full stride until 40 as far as like business ability, right? We're not athletes, we're business owners right now. I cannot run as fast as I used to run. That's for damn sure, or even run at all. But my mind is way better, and the way I move in business is way better. Yeah. And so you're just starting to come into that. So yeah, you can really put together a run that'd be amazing. One of the things I like to talk about, is a wrap up to the show. How are we doing on time? We doing all right? 45 minutes. 45. Okay. We're perfect then. Perfect timing. is to, okay, we talked about the past, we talked about the present, we're talking about the future, right? When we got you to buy into, she wants to go bigger, Dallas. I mean, you're going to be in trouble, man. You're going to have to start really, helping her out and getting in there on the weekends.
No more gym time in the
No more gym
garage,
time,
man.
bro. You have to work out while you're making stuff. So why the machine's working? You could be doing this a set. You said just as long as someone's watching it, right?
Someone's just got to be watching.
You can
You
do
can even put a
both.
camera on it.
Right, exactly.
Put
You
on
can be
the
working
TV.
out and
There you go.
You guys can't see. He's really buff, by the way. So we'll have to put a
Multitasking.
picture. So yeah, you can multitask, work out, get a lot of gym time in. So the future. Now, I'll give you a quick valuation of your business right now. Okay, and then we talk numbers, but I'll give you a quick just valuation. Looking at your valuation right now, your business, if you got out of production and you weren't actually the one doing the machines, the designs should always be you.
Always.
Right? Always. The designs, the artistic part of the business should always be you. Okay, I have 50 employees in my business, but the system that gets deployed every day is me. Okay, it's my system. It's what I want. It's how I do it. Right. So everybody that works for me is doing my system, but I'm not the hands specifically on everything that happens. But it's my system, what I want, my creation. For you, same thing. You want to actually get out of production, probably sooner versus later, right? And then get into just creative and management, and eventually get it out of the management. Eventually you want to get out of first step is get out of production. Second step is to get out of management, and then just be the creative, and you're over the business. And then the things that you can do once you're over your business, and you can look down and you can see all the moving pieces because you're no longer in the business, right? You're over the business, and the view becomes way better and it's way clearer, and you can watch all the pieces moving. And when you want to talk about creativity, now I'm not an artist that way, from the type way an artist you are, but I'm an artist in business and I'm an artist in systems. And when I finally got above my business and started looking around, I could move pieces, I was like, holy crap. And now stuff really started speeding up. So right now your business is worth, if you were out of production, about $600,000, okay? Plus whatever machines you have and stuff like that, plus hard assets. So if you were to sell the business and retire, and you say, hey, I want to retire at 37 and a half. I don't know when your birthday is exactly, but that's what you could sell the business for if you could replace the production you're doing, right? But I'm sure eventually, you're going to want to have something, again, bigger than yourself. You're going to want to have some kind of a serious valuation. You can have an extra strategy of, let's say, 10 million. I always like $10 million for some reason. I don't know why that is. it's a great number, isn't it?
A great number.
Great number.
Yeah,
great
it
number.
is.
Right. So I could see your business. You have great scalability, right? You have a great concept. You have a great brand already. So you have like everything in place to really get there. And again, I think you could have an evaluation of 10 million, and I think you could do it probably in 5 to 6 years, right? And it just is going to come down to execution of a scaling plan. And if you execute your plan properly, you could be worth $10 million. The business could be worth $10 million in about 5-6 years. And again, where it goes from there, because you're so young, you'd only be in your mid 40s. I mean, again, you could take it all the way. I mean, be the next Martha Stewart, right? Minus the insider trading, right? You're not going to start insider trading stocks, are you? Okay.
She can come out of jail and have a TV show. So.
Exactly. You got to give it to
Silver
Martha.
lining.
You got to give it to Martha. She can bounce back.
Yeah,
I tell you what, man. Come right out of prison like with a new contract with J.C. Penney, man. Let's just do this. So again, I'm super excited for you. I think your business has tremendous potential. Again, I think you're really starting to move well. And the sky's the limit. And again, like I say, just, scale up before you scale wide. You can scale wide later on, but now scale up. Keep bringing higher stuff, better stuff, better products. And again, you're gonna be amazing. She should be such an inspiration for everybody watching this show, because she's the quintessential small business owner, getting started as a side business, then running it out of your house, and then finally moving to a commercial location, and then hiring employees, And then now you're ready to scale. Okay. And if you do it smartly, again, it can be absolutely amazing. And I don't care what you do. I mean, it's amazing what she does, her work, but you could do it cleaning toilets. I always bring up that example. I mean, some of the most profitable businesses I've ever come across are like stuff people don't want to do, like cleaning toilets and mowing lawns, and there's big money in everything without fail. Is there anything, I mean, this is your show, this is your episode, you're going to show this to all your friends and family, your customers. Is there anything else that you wanted to get in before we wrap up?
I don't think so. I mean, we just want to say thank you for the support and just for loving on our family and our shop. None of it was possible without everybody tuning in and being a part of this. So,
well, hopefully we can get you in front of some more people, because I've checked out her stuff. I'm placing my order. I'm not going to wait 3 weeks, but
we'll expedite.
I'm going to pay the expediting fee, right? So,
what is the website and the social media?
Yes, give it to us. It's going to be linked to everything, but still give it to us anyway.
Yeah. You can find us on Facebook at Queen Bee Home, and then on Instagram it's QB Home, just slightly abbreviated. And then our website is queenbeehome.com. And it's just the letter B, not B-E-E. It's sort of a play on words. Our last name is Bates, so Queen B for Bates.
Okay.
Queen Bee Home.
Nice.
And then home is sort of all encompassing for all of our products.
Yeah. It's great offerings. I mean, you got everything for all parts of the house.
Thank you.
It's very, very, very cool. And again, I'm definitely going to buy it. I'm just saying, I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff.
I saw the dog selection, man.
Oh yeah. Awesome stuff.
We love our dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool stuff. I mean, could be just a huge moneymaker for you, seller for you, is doing those dogs, because everybody that got dogs loves their dog. I know, Amelia, love your dogs.
Same way, man.
Could you post any more of them, man, on your social media? Not today. You got 2 huskies, right? One husky and a mixed shepherd. Awesome. Yeah, they're beautiful dogs. So if you've liked the show, if it's helped you out, if it's inspired you in any kind of a way, we obviously are trying to get the message out to more people that can watch these shows and get some of the advice, and more importantly, get some inspiration from other entrepreneurs like Emily. Please like, subscribe, share it wherever you can. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to her, and whoever you share it with, I think they'll get some value out of it. It means a lot to them too. So it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for driving all the way down from Phoenix. I know that wasn't easy. And thank you, Dallas, for hanging in there with us, and providing all the applause. Can we get some more applause out of Dallas before we go? Hey, man. All right, finally. All right.
There you go.
Thanks a bunch, guys. See you on the next one.